fundraising and overall ecosystem is drying up because of the current turbulence.
All our acquisitions have been smaller acquisitions, pure equity acquisitions. We have not paid a single dollar to acquire them. Getting on to the IPO phase, yes, I think we are ready in that side of thing.
So Piyush, fundraising and overall ecosystem is drying up because of the current turbulence. Through PropTech companies in India of late have made quite some noise. So my question is that where are you currently with your IPO plans? Also, can we expect companies that Square Yard might acquire in coming time to boost your own, operations or revenue?
So Kritika, first on the funding itself, as in like we saw a significant boom in PropTech investment globally about a couple of years back or for 3 years, around 3 years. However, India was not as much touched by that wave as, let's say, for that example of fintech or edtech as the space has seen. The benefit also, it was driven a lot from the overall real estate market sentiment which were there in India as in we have seen one of the longest running bear run for about 8.5 years. We are seeing a good comeback from that in post-COVID. I think a lot of user preferences have changed. People are looking at bigger spaces. The importance of the amount of time they spend in the house has changed. So that is starting to make it look more positive for real estate as a sector. And I think the PropTech is a corollary to that, and that's where hopefully we'll see much more traction on the funding side of PropTech once the overall funding winter kind of comes down to a level wherein globally there is more risk appetite of startups, etc. Getting on to the IPO phase, yes, I think we are quite, I would say, ready in that side of thing. In terms of a plan, our readiness, our corporate governance practices, etc., etc. It's a factor of how the market is, where the market is, etc., which is what we are trying to kind of hopefully time right. If things are all fine, probably another year to 2 years, we should be a listed entity. We are already very close to profitability. We'll be in a touching distance of $100 million in revenue. So from a startup space, there are not even a handful of companies which would be of this scale in terms of revenue and profitable. So that should peg us in a very select set of good small number of startups, and hence good demand. Coming to the acquisitions part, our acquisition strategy, Kritika, has always been not about ramping up numbers. We have been very clear, we don't want to pay to acquire revenue. That strategy at least doesn't fit in our mindset and the way we look at things. All our acquisitions have been smaller acquisitions, pure equity acquisitions. We have not paid a single dollar to acquire them. It's always share swap. And these are acquisitions which have added significant capabilities. The way we look at it is, it has to be a team of entrepreneurs who we believe would be sticking with us for 10 years and 15 years, as in bring them into the co-founding team. That's really what we are looking to expand. Secondly, a large segment or a piece of segment where it adds significant value to the overall ecosystem. And 3, a definite proof of concept. So most of the companies we have acquired, they have been all in terms of revenue, not even at $500,000 in revenue. It's not the revenue which they bring, but the massive amount of capability. So if I talk Azuro, the entire foray into the rental and the property management space is on the back of that. And we know it's the next 20-year thing for us, which is what we need to build. PropVR, you have already seen some of the output we have there. Third company we acquired, PropSAMC. That's really what brought all the data which you see on our website, the transactional details and transparency. This is all coming from the base work which PropSAMC had already done. So these are the strategy we always follow. Will there be more acquisitions? Probably. Nothing in sight at the moment, but never close to bringing good set of entrepreneurs into the fold so that we can then back them up and make it big.
So, what do you guys think of the Indian PropTech market scenario? Because there are few investors who have quoted that Indian PropTech companies are not yet in that advanced stage or organized stage as compared to, as you said, fintech and edtech. So, what's your take on that?
I think it's driven more from sentiment about real estate than really the capabilities of the company. So, if you see the kind of work which is happening by some of the companies in the PropTech space, it's quite cutting edge, quite amazing work being done. But it's generally that once when you have a overall market negative, it always plays in the mind of the investors. And unfortunate part for the PropTech is it has also had few bad experience along the way. So there was a good amount of traction in the early part of 2012, 2013 when the real estate boom was there, and a few of the fundings which happened at that stage, some of these companies couldn't survive through the bear run, and that also always plays on the mind of the investor a lot. So, but I don't think it's if you look at the kind of work is happening in India vis-a-vis work happening in Europe, work happening in US, and now that we have operations in each of these places, working and talking to a lot of these people for the SaaS play which we have on agents, the kind of work which is happening in India or we are doing is at absolute cutting edge. So I don't think it's really the tech which is the big differentiator. Yes, one big factor which always will be there, and I think a knowledgeable investor would know that, is that if you were to believe that you will have a PropTech play, or especially a play which is in the larger market, which is of transactions, which can be pure tech play, then you are in a fool's paradise. That's never going to happen. It hasn't happened globally anywhere. It's not going to happen in India. Nobody is going to buy or put not only their life saving, but probably 30-50% of their salary per month for the next 20 years in an item which they buy by going on web and not checking it with 5 different individuals, visiting it 3 times. So it's not going to become digital. So another factor which, as I said, a lot of people have is it's not very tech. You guys are hybrid, or rather this model is hybrid, or this industry is hybrid. It will remain hybrid. Now that's the nature of the industry.